Nobody is born to be a confident public speaker. Nobody is born to be good at anything. They practice.
Hello again. I'm so happy to have this person here today with us, Muxiang Pajerski, and I hope I pronounce it good. So Muxiang is a non-native English speaker, and I bring her today just to share her story. It's like we are in a coffee table talking, and so it's my honor. After I was looking things about her, I was more involved in this conversation. I said, no, I want more. I want to know more about her. So Muxiang, thank you for coming here, for being here, and welcome to this channel. This is your house, and I'm sure that we will have a wonderful conversation. So we are going to start. Who's Muxiang?
Thank you, Lynda, for having me again. My name is Muxiang Pajerski. Currently, I'm a project manager and also a mother and wife. And I have been in the United States for 16 years, talking about learning English. I have learned English for many years. However, I couldn't feel free of expressing myself in English only until recently.
If you don't want to answer this question, tell me no, Lynda. Okay. But I was reading about that in Chinese culture, the age is very important, and it's not like in America or in some culture that is not polite to ask your age. So can I ask you your age now?
Sure.
Okay.
So I want you to guess.
Your daughter, probably she's 12, so you may be in your 40s?
Yeah.
At 41?
44.
44. Okay, that's a good number. And also because I read something about the number 4. You like number 4 in Chinese? Number 4 is important. No, it's not. Oh, you avoid that number.
4 equivalents is equivalent with death.
Oh my goodness. No.
Because the sound is the same. It's the similar sound. 4 is 4, and death is also 4. So
just remember that death is a new bird. So that's fine.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. Even that was 4. That's why.
Okay. So 16 years ago, what happened?
18 years ago, I met with my husband in China, and that's how we started our long-distance relationship. We dated. 2 years later, we got married. That's how I moved to the United States.
Okay. You were 28 when you came here.
27.
27. And I have a question. So at that point, did you know English? You were able to speak in English?
Yeah, I was able to speak in English conversational level.
Okay.
But I didn't have confidence. Even though the people around me, including my husband, thought my English was good enough to find a job here, I wasn't confident.
So how did you learn English at school?
When I was in high school, I didn't pay too much attention to English learning.
So that comes to my next question. How was the interaction with your husband? Because does he speak Chinese?
No.
Okay, at all.
After my graduation in college in China, I went to a city in China, southern China. It's called Shenzhen, which is close to Hong Kong. Over there, you were able to meet with many people from other countries. And I met Indian friends, I met American friends, I met friends from other places. However, I utilized the translation in my head. That's why I developed some bad habits in my English. It's really hard for me
because you were translating in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and that makes sense because when you do that, you just focus your brain. You cannot be fluent because you are not anticipating for the next one. So when you speak your native language, you are speaking and you go almost ahead of your speaking. Yes. But
Yes.
when you just focus in one word at the next word at the next word, yeah, it's more complicated, and you are not going to get your fluency. Yeah, that's
Yes.
well, that's
And
the
also
way.
sentence structures are so different in Chinese and in English. So when I had the habit of using the Chinese structure to speak English,
Yeah.
then it made me sound very foreign.
The difference between Chinese and English, so it's two different languages, yes?
Yes.
So, but
Totally.
what was easy for you? What do you think was an advantage for you that you learned, that you knew Chinese to learn English?
I have to be honest with you. I
No.
don't find any advantages of knowing Chinese would help me learning
I
English.
don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
in fact, it's harder. It's harder because all the habits
Yes.
I had from my first language, I carried it over to my second language. That's
Yes.
why it's harder for me to get rid of my accents. Also, I still keep making the same similar smaller mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in terms of preposition usages in English, it's really, really challenging for me.
Why? So that's the most challenging? That's
To
the
me,
most challenging thing?
yeah, to me, it's the most challenging part.
But why? Because in Chinese, you don't have prepositions?
Yeah, we don't use that type of prepositions.
Okay. In Chinese, do you have genders?
We have genders, but the sound is the same. And we also use prepositions, but we have one word called, we have a indicator. If it's inside, we have the inside, outside have the outside, but the conjunction word is the 在. It means it's easier to understand. Not,
Yes.
I mean, here it's easy to understand too, but it depends on the phrasal verbs.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
So what do you think is more difficult, to learn Chinese or to learn English? For one person like is from France or Germany or Spanish speaker. So what do you think?
It really depends. Yeah. When it comes to writing, obviously Chinese is so much harder.
Yes.
But if you want to learn to be able to educate yourself to learning Chinese is, in fact, it's not that hard. Because my daughter knows some pinyin. I know at this point she can learn by herself if she wants to, because the structures, the sentence structures are easier, more standard. Not like in English, it changes constantly. Even today, we were discussing that with my husband, my daughter, when I was taking a morning walk at the elk park. I said, "Oh, I didn't see any elks." They said, "No, you shouldn't say elks. You should say elk." I said, "What?" And you probably heard about sheep.
Yes.
Sheep.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you can
In Spanish we have the same.
And the fish, you
sheep.
can use fish. I said, why? Why they can't make this standard rules? So it's a little bit easier for the other people to learn the language. But yeah,
I believe
regular rules.
Yes, and I believe like for Spanish speaker, the vowels are very difficult.
Okay.
So I think are the most challenging part. I think so. What about for Chinese people?
To me, it's the L and the N. It also depends on the people, which region in China they're from.
So now tell me, once you came here to the United States, what were the most difficult part talking about culture? Like your Chinese culture with the American culture, something that you said, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
To me, the very first thing I found very shocking, the reason I remember it is because I wrote an essay about it, is when we went to visit my husband's friends. And they offered me a tap water from the tap, from the faucet.
From the top, yes. Okay.
Yeah, from tap. Okay. But here it was very common. But to me, that really made me to think, is that even drinkable? And the other thing is about the relationship, about the family. Before, back in China, before I moved to the United States, we heard a lot about go Dutch when you pay things, and you also talking about the independence and also families, money management is all separated. So we thought family in the United States were not as close as we thought in China. But when I moved to the United States, and that's true, we go Dutch, we split bills, and we also don't mingle the money things with extended families. However, I found that we are very, very close too in the United States. And also we are more open to accept each other. For example, probably you already heard that I'm very close with my husband's ex-wife's family.
Yes.
And she is one of our family members.
I was watching your videos, and something that touched me a lot was Valerie. Valerie, I think it's your stepdaughter.
Valerie.
Yes.
Yeah, Valerie. Yes. Valerie is my stepdaughter. She has Down syndrome. However, she has brought so much joy to the family, to the people around us, and to me. So when I moved to the United States, she was only 10. And sometimes she picks some memories to remember. For example, she remembered the first memory we created together was that I tried to carry her, because when I moved to the United States, it was in March and it was still snowing, in Chicago. Yes. And after a dinner, our first meeting, and I tried to carry her in snow, and she was heavier than I thought.
Of course, and I think bigger than you.
And then we fell in snow, and we were laughing, and so she remembers that memory so well, and we often talk about it. And also throughout the years, she has been my inspiration. Every time when I see her doing something, I felt that extraordinary, and that encourages me to do better. And I often share that. I also want people to see the inspiration from her. Like
I saw it.
You can ask it. Yeah. And
I saw it in your video. So Muxiang, she make a video for her. And it's beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was my question. So I came and I said I would like to ask her what did she learn? What did you learn about her? But I think she's your inspiration. So
yeah, she's my inspiration. I learned from her is that really just be the authentic yourself, and be kind, and really be generous about your compliments. She is so sweet. And she would provide very sincere and authentic compliments, and she can see the beauty in everyone.
Wow. Yeah, just that's a big lesson.
People need to see the light that she carries to the society.
Yeah. And you did a good job.
Thank you. That was my very first movie editing project. And
no, wait a minute, because you did another one that I love it. When I watched it, I was looking, oh my goodness, she's a dancer, she's a singer. So yeah, because I saw another video that's Muxiang was crazy. Was beautiful. So that's your passion?
That's not, I'm not a singer. I'm such a bad singer, but I did the MTV from my class. Okay. I really liked my education in the United States, because it really allowed me to explore all kinds of possibilities.
And thanks that you learned English, that you spoke English, yes?
Well, yeah, that also forced me to learn English. I had to read so much. I had to write. Writing was really not my strong suit, and it was very challenging for me. But I constantly spent triple of the time to just get my grades high. I'm
Yeah.
very competitive at school,
Yes.
and my English as my second language, I could graduate with all A's. That was really
Hard.
something I thought I could be very proud of.
But you did good. And
You.
watching you, so I know Muxiang,
Yes.
and I admire her. I admire her because of her persistence. She's always perfect, always on place. She's always perfect. She always with glasses or without glasses. Her hair, the way that you speak, it's also very polite, very. And I figured like, yeah, Chinese people usually your culture is very. You respect a lot other people. You respect older people. You respect your family, your ancestors. So it's something that, and yes, when you are in front of other person and you just sit in the proper way and do the proper things. So I think it's part of the respect. Yes.
I would say yes. That yeah.
Okay, another thing that I have a question. And this question is that this question came because I had a group on Facebook and this question came from there. And
Okay.
I was thinking about Chinese cuisine. So I know noodles, I know dumplings, I know different food that are delicious. But the question is real that Chinese people they eat animals like mice, snakes, or that's not true?
It is true.
Oh, really?
Snakes, yes, snakes, yes.
Snakes and mice?
Mice too. I haven't had, but I know people
But
do.
some people, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and where do they find their mice? So they cultivate, they grow like the
No, I
hamsters
don't
or
know
what?
if they grow, but yeah, they can eat. Yeah, people eat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have never ate that.
I have never, yeah.
And snakes? You have
Yeah,
never.
the eel are similar, similar things. Have you had the eel?
No.
Eel. Every time when we visit China, we have great time. They have great food, and also they have a luxury spa. You can enjoy a lot of labor involved services. And like we have many spas. This kind of service like I enjoy so much is washing hair. Like you go out, washing hair, have
Yes.
massage. And I think that's perfect. It's almost like a manicure, pedicure. It's
Yes.
just a service for your hair. So,
And it's less expensive than here to make that kind of treatments over there.
yeah, people do
Here,
hair
everything is more
more
expensive.
often. Yeah. Here, I learned how to cut my hair during the pandemic. I cut my
Yes.
husband's hair. I cut my daughter's hair.
Yeah,
And
I do
we
the same with my husband. In the beginning was tough because one day I cut here and he went outside and he said, everybody started laughing about me. So now I'm very good. I think so. Now
yeah,
nobody
I'm
laughs.
getting better too. I'm getting better too.
Okay, that's good.
I cut my husband's
Ear.
like yeah, once yeah, gotta have cuts. You know, those mean I didn't know how to use it, but now I'm getting better. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
great question.
Muxiang, tell me, do and don't in China. So something that you should do if you are foreign and you go to China, or something that you don't do there.
That's a very good question. I have never thought about it. You almost can do anything.
Okay.
Most Chinese are very open to outside cultures and especially tourists. They have the concept of knowing the different culture brings different behavior, the actions. I think what I don't do, I really can't think of any. However, I don't think you should hug someone
Okay.
for the first time. Yeah.
Oh,
And
you don't do that.
that's something in the United States. And I like it because it really bring you closer and build the trust and bond. I don't know if it applies in business situation, but But the social situation, I think hugging is common here, but in
Yes.
China it's not common. It's shaking hands.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely don't kiss. Definitely don't
Okay.
kiss someone the first time you meet. Yeah.
Okay. But when you go outside and you see your mother or your sibling.
About that, I want to share my experience with my family. I grew up without hugging culture, and I didn't hug my own father, until on his 60th birthday. Even though
Wow.
now I love that, I love
Yes,
hugging the
yes, yes.
special family, and now I go back, I hug them. But back then, like before I came to the United States, I had this new culture built in me. I didn't feel comfortable or natural to hug my parents.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's almost like it's my parents and us, they will say that I love you in the past.
you didn't.
No, didn't.
Okay.
That's something, yeah, the culture difference. It's
No,
still,
it's
yeah, even though I'm
okay.
a good daughter and they know
Yeah. Okay.
good daughter, but it's really hard for us. We don't say I love you to each other.
In my family, I think I was the same. I was the first. I always like hugs and say I
Yeah.
love you. But I think I was the first family member to start doing that because
Okay.
that was part of my personality.
Yeah, you
That's
need to start somewhere. Yeah, now I
yes, yes,
started that, and
and that's
yeah,
great.
my company
Yeah.
is adapting to this. Hugging, I mean, hugging is a little bit easier to overcome than saying
Yeah.
I love you.
It's another step that you need to do.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And now going to the third part. So you are still learning English. You are still working
Yes,
on your English, on your pronunciation, on your speaking, public speaking.
yes.
So why?
I just feel if there's a room for me to improve, I should continue. Language learning is a long journey. There's no end. It's almost like literature or reading. You can continue learning. And also about the culture is like not lifelong learning. I think it's good for us to have this mindset of learning. And also, of course, I want to make my pronunciation as clear as possible, because a few months before we met from our English program, I thought there were a couple sounds, and there was one particular scenario. Someone, when I said connection, which is a word I use a lot, but she said, "What, collection?" So just a very subtle difference. They are totally two different words, because I have this L and N sounds mixed, even from my first language. I found it challenging, so I needed extra effort to work on it.
And when we start, you spoke about confidence. So what kind of things makes hard for you to start speaking outside or in public? So what kind of things are the things that kill someone's confidence? What do you think?
I think it's still in a like a personal mindset. Some people speak broken English, they are very confident. Or some people speak English with a very heavy accent. They speak confidently. They were not so afraid. However, I noticed that many people will have a large vocabulary, has many degrees, and their English writing level is very high, and they can speak. However, they can't express freely because they have these restraints in their head. They tell themselves they are not good enough. They can't express themselves enough. So this is something that I have learned in my recent years. So I joined the Toastmasters 4 years ago. And the more I speak, the more mistakes I make, the more I learn. And the more I put myself out there to speak, to welcome the judgment, welcome evaluations, the more confident I become. Yeah.
How many recordings you do before you post a video?
Sometimes just one.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Sometimes I take 20 because I start and then something I said, no, again.
Yeah, occasionally I also do a lot, try.
Okay.
Because I usually, when I do vlogs, even speeches, I don't practice. I didn't written.
Yes,
I don't
impromptu speeches.
Script.
Yes.
So I often improvise. So when I improvise, especially like vlogs, I sometimes even forgot what I did during that day. So that's why I needed to rewind or think.
Yeah, okay.
That day.
But that's normal. Yes, yeah. And that's important point. Like people sometimes they watch videos and they think like people just start picking like everything is perfect. That is not perfect. But they think like, oh, that's easy for that person. And I don't think it's easy. It's just it's challenging. So you are doing a challenge. And I think during all the 2023, you are posting a blog. Yes. So tell me about that experience, how people can start doing the same and what kind of thing they can achieve with that. What was your experience and how you can tell them about that?
Thank you for that question. This is one of my New Year goals is to do my vlogs every day. I thought it should be easy to 1 minute of the vlog, and turned out it's not that easy. It really requires your willpower to continue to stay persistent. I had to force myself. Okay, like the day is like approaching to the end of the day, and okay, I look very bad and I don't want to change my clothes. That's why sometimes I just go there, say whatever I have in my mind. However, this effort really pushed myself to do this daily
work.
And the more I do, the more I feel it's possible. Even though it wasn't in the beginning, when I was setting the goal, I thought it's possible. But during the time when I was doing it, you need to do it every day, I found it very difficult to continue. But I tried a little harder. Now I feel like it's possible. I think this applies to whatever we learn, whatever we want to master, or whatever goal we want to reach. It's the same journey. It's the first step may be easy, but it's very important. You need to take the first step. Then on the way, you will face challenges. You will face self-doubt. You will question yourself if it's even worth your effort. And then in the end, if you moved on, if you get over that challenging part, you will feel it's possible. Then in the end, hopefully you will reach the goal. For me, originally I did that, yes, to practice my public speaking skills. And at the same time, I want to challenge myself to make ordinary extraordinary. And I have another goal is to speak on a TEDx stage. I feel maybe this is just a small steps for me to take, and it's necessary for me to take to reach the bigger goal. And if I don't end up on a bigger stage, it's also okay for me, because I learned that no matter we've reached the final goal or not, we will benefit from the journey, from the process.
Yeah, the process
Trying.
sometimes is more, or the process usually is more important than the final goal. Because the final
Yeah,
goal at the end is, okay, I got it. But what you are going to remember is the process.
yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
so
Yes.
something that I love, and I don't want to finish this interview without talking this, it's about rejection. So I think when people start talking English, speaking English, they have fear and they don't speak because of rejection. And you have a story that I'm sure that was a painful story, that you felt rejected. They felt like they could trade you for another boy. How that experience changed your life or the way that you see the life?
When you were asking this question, it immediately touched my heart. Is what really um, has been something like pull me back to feel confident. Is I grew up as a girl. I was born during the one-child policy in China, so I was an invisible girl, like an invisible girl. And because my brother was born like 3 years later, once he was born, I didn't get the kind of attention a child would want to. And that made me feel I wasn't as important as others. And also, I'm not as good as others. This type of mindset, that feeling, that insecurity really played a huge role in my life. Like I feel not good enough. And yeah, that would pull me back. When I try to do something, that kind of thought would pull me back. However, because I grew up with that mindset, I feel more brave to try new things because I feel like, okay, I'm not that important. If I die, I die. Wouldn't cause big harm to others because I really care about my family. I care about how the consequences would affect others. So when I perceive, okay, I wasn't big enough and I wasn't important enough, it freed me to try all kinds of things. So that's why when I was only 17 years old, I traveled to another province to study art and just tried a lot of new things that many kids wouldn't do in my young age when they were from rural areas. But I was okay. And I also stood up for others, for strangers. And I often have this hero in myself. I need to do something like bigger than myself. So it's the one side is pulling me, make me feel insecure. The other side is freeing me, it empowers me to do new things, to take challenges, to take risks. Yeah, that's also, I didn't know anything about the US. And the only single thing I knew is my husband. I just trusted him. I came here and started a whole new life.
And
Yeah,
trust is an important part of this process.
trust and love. Even though I didn't have a lot of love and warmth when I grew up, but to me, I think those are very, very, very valuable things in life, in relationship. And also being yourself is very, very powerful. Once you feel yourself, you liberate your mind, you liberate your potential, you
Yes,
will discover more of
yes,
yourself
yes,
and also
absolutely.
live a life more passionate. Yeah.
Yes, we have many things to do in this in this life to just
Yes.
don't try. So
Yes. Yes.
that's part. Okay, and the last one. What's the difference between Muxiang before English and Muxiang after English?
Before, Muxiang was feeling restrained, like not free. But once I feel I can express myself in English freely, I freed myself. I can talk, and I also can use my own journey to inspire others. That's what I have been trying to do, is that not only about myself, because I know my stories and also my journey, if I can share with others, can inspire others. Because I don't know if you watched one of my Toastmasters contest
Yes.
speeches. It's about what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. That video, many people watched it and they reached out to me. They said that inspired them to be braver. I think that's important to me, to discover the power of voice, discover the power of speaking. And I want that to see, I want this kind of empowerment in others who are around me.
Yeah. Wow, Muxiang, that's beautiful. Where people can watch your videos, your blogs?
On YouTube, and I'm most active on LinkedIn and YouTube.
The last thing that you would like to tell them.
The last thing I want to tell everyone is that really try a little bit harder. You will see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're passionate about that, what you want, really just try a little bit harder and also trust yourself. And also mindset really is the key to your goal. And set yourself free, then your language would be more free. And also practice. Yeah, practice, practice, practice. Nobody is born to be a confident public speaker. Nobody is born to be good at anything. They practice. Another valuable tip I want to share is find the people that support you. That's so important. And the people may not be in your daily life. They could be just online community, like Toastmasters or English learning community. But once you find the people who think like you and they want to be better version of themselves, then you will become better version of yourself.
Yes, and you're speaking about Toastmaster. Toastmaster, like a group, like you can improve your English, your speaking, and the meetings. I already have been in one, and that was wonderful. That was very encouraged because you have people that they are ready to support you, to help you, and also they are going to give you a real feedback. It's not just like you are my friend or I like you, so I'm not going to tell you what are the things that you can just twitch a little bit. So I love that. So well, yeah, Toastmaster, I like your group. So if you want also to participate, just find Muxiang in her social media, and I'm sure that she's going to give you more information. So before we end, so I'm just going to say first, thank you, Muxiang. And for the people that have been watching this interview, just remember, it doesn't matter if you are from China, from Japan, from Africa, from South America, from North America. It doesn't matter what's your main languages. English, open your life, open the doors for new opportunities, to know more people. And it's not easy, no, absolutely, but it's rewarding. So thank you very much. Thank you, Muxiang.
Thank you so much, Lynda. This is such a wonderful time.